Okay, welcome to this week's Friday sit down. I know we took a break last week, did something a little more fun. We are going to continue that trend, and I'm going to alternate every other week of doing this serious type sit down and then something fun. So next week we're actually introducing something brand new even for me, and we're doing a Let's Play, a video game Let's Play. Something I didn't think I'd be doing for youth ministry, but here we are in the time of online ministry and what the kids want. So, gotta give it to them. So stay tuned for that. That'll launch May 1st, and that could change a whole lot of different other things, depending on how well it gets. So, be on the lookout for that. But today, I wanted to sit down and talk about prayer. And as the title thumbnail says, I want to talk about uncertain prayer. I want to talk about, so what the basis of this talk will be is my prayer life, what it was before all this, during this, and what I hope for it to be after all this. So sit tight. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Most of you that know me or have seen the other videos I've uploaded right now know I can be long-winded. So just bear with me. We'll get through this. Sit tight. Let's dive in. So, so prayer for me has always been kind of this weird area in my life. You would think, Mark, you've been doing church work for 7 years now. Prayer is like one of the essentials. Yes and no. Prayer for me has been prayer for me has definitely been this spotty kind of thing where I'll take it seriously, I won't take it seriously, I'll get it across like I'm reading a script. And there's part of me that was like, that just prayer's not me. And when I pray, I don't typically pray the same way everybody else does, which I know there's no foundational prayer method, to do this instead of just, there's no format. But when I pray, I usually will eyes open. If I'm in our sanctuary, my eyes are focused on the cross. And I know that's okay, but I don't take it seriously. And I'll be the first to admit that. I really don't. But at the same time, I knew I should. Prayer had been one of the lesser things in not only the ministry work side of me, but my own personal life. I pray every so often, but that's about it. And I came to a fuller realization of this back in, I would say, January or February this year. So I am a part of our church's prayer group. And once I started realizing that my prayers just felt lifeless, I wasn't taking it seriously. I was dealing with a lot of other things. And I realized, okay, I need to step back. I need to step away, focus on my own prayer life. Because it made sense in my head that how can I pray for others when my own prayer life is essentially non-existent? I talked to our leader and she was cool with it. And I invested in a book by Pastor Craig Groeschel, who's the lead pastor at Life Church, a former UMC pastor too, which was interesting, and the founder or part of the founder team for the Bible app that most of us would know today. And that book did change a lot. Now, I haven't been able yet to take a lot of what I've been able to learn into practice, but at the same time, I've been able to take a deeper sense on what prayer is supposed to be, what it should be. And yeah, it was a great book. It was a very instilling book. I'll probably end up reading it again, and I'm hoping once we get back to in-face meetings, use it as a Bible study or book study type resource. And I hope. I don't know. I don't know where I want to go yet with it. But at the same time, it did make me realize, because Pastor Craig struggled with the same thing, the realization that, prayers were lifeless, that you were just doing it for the sake of doing it. You weren't doing it for the meaning that prayers were supposed to have. And just reading, I highly encourage you to purchase that book. Again, it's called Dangerous Prayers. And it breaks it down. I don't want to spoil too much, but it breaks it down into 3 basic prayers, short sentences that pack a whole lot of meaning. Like I said, I'm probably going to reread that book once life kind of settled down a little bit. The world's not as chaotic as it is right now, so I can start being able to put that into practice. So that's where I came from. My prayer life hasn't always been the strongest, and when it has been the strongest, it's usually in the midst of chaos of my own. Just because we always try to pray to take away the bad, we never continue to be thankful for the good. So that leads us into prayer life during all this. I mentioned in the last Friday sit down about the grief I was struck with, and me being sick and all that. Part of the process, or part of the situation when I was sick, was I was praying almost every day, and I was kind of surprised to do so, because for the first little bit, I was hit with such bad depression. I was not eating. I was laying in bed. I was just not me, and I know that I was not myself. But I prayed one night, God, take this from me, take the suffering, take the grief, I was physically, what I think was like a stress-induced chest cold. So I just said, take the physical symptoms away, take all this away. Let not my will but yours be done, all that kind of stuff. And once I'm not saying I got better because I prayed, but I truly believe that prayer is what pulled me out of that prayer is what pulled me out of that dark spot. Because I give full credit to the grace of God and His healing touch to be able to take me from a spot where I was just not myself, I was not okay, and turn that around. I think within a week, I started to feel better. Still not 100%, but I think it's allergies. Thankful to, Michigan's Mother Nature. But at the same time, prayer has continued to be such a strong part of my life. It reminds me of the Philippians scripture, Philippians 4, verse 6. I read from the easy to read version, so it might be different for you. But don't worry about anything, but pray and ask God for everything you need, always giving thanks for what you have. And that's where my foundational belief of prayer has come from, and how when we talk about prayer during our youth lessons and during Sunday school, that's kind of the foundation I build it off of. If your prayers need to be including what you're thankful for God and what you want to pray for. And that's where my prayers led. And even today, it's just, even if it's just getting up and being thankful for another day, that, that first breath He gives you in the morning, being able to wake up, because in a time like this, that stuff isn't guaranteed. And really, it's not guaranteed any day. But now we're seeing it more and more where stuff like that isn't a guaranteed thing for all people. So just being thankful for that has been such a powerful message for me. And at the same time, I was viewing prayer as definitely a healing mechanism, because one of the problems I had during the first couple weeks I was sick was I kept all the mental anguish that I was dealing with up here. And I always tell my kids that, if you're dealing with something, whether it's anxiety, depression, something mentally negative, don't keep it up here, because go figure, it can cause damage to your physical body. And now there's scientific studies that have proven that as well. And now it kind of, I think it shed a realization when I was recording the last sit down, that I needed to put in I need to practice what I preach. And up here, getting it all out, I think was also cathartic, is the word I want to use. Being able just to, because with me being sick, I was dealing with similar symptoms to the big pandemic that was going on. So my anxiety-induced brain went to, oh God, this is gonna kill me. I'm done. Lord's gonna take me from this. And over time with that, I became okay with the concept that, if this is what takes me, so be it. I know I have a limited time on earth. The Lord saved me from other issues like that before, so if this is it, okay. So, 'cause during one of the prayers I was going, it reminded me of uh, the prayer that Jesus had in the garden, where he was in anguish about going to the cross, about being crucified. And I believe the scripture paraphrased as such is like, Lord, take this cup of suffering from me, but let not my will but yours be done. And there was comfort I found in that, with, Lord, I don't want to deal with this. I want all the suffering to be gone. I want the physical symptoms to be gone. I want the mental anguish to be gone. But let not my will but yours be done. And it was this weird feeling of surrender, that, Lord, I've tried. I'm trying to beat this. I can't do it myself. Let your will be done. Let you guide me. Let you take over, and go from there. And that's kind of how I felt happened, or kind of how I felt what happened was, the Lord was able to start taking care of the mental faculties of me. Um, Anxious thoughts have been, even to today, the anxious thoughts have been slowly dwindling away. The depression and all of that has been slowly going away. I've been able to attack more personal projects. I've been able to expand and refocus how I'm doing these videos, how we're conducting youth ministry, how we're doing Sunday school. I've been able to expand on them and express a little bit more creativity behind what we're doing. And it's been fun. It's been fun, and that's the thing. It's been fulfilling. So in doing so, is helping to keep that, the depression and all that away. And I've been able to dive into the Word a little bit more. I've been able to dedicate most Sundays, or most of my day on Sundays, to diving into His Word. Listening to a variety of sermons. My churches. I watch probably 4 or 5 different sermons on Sunday alone, excluding what I listen to throughout the week, because I follow Elevation Church. I listen to their podcasts, the Bible Project podcast, Life Church's Pastor Craig's podcast. Online, I watch Elevation's sermon videos, Transformation Church's videos, and all that has just helped refill the spiritual low I was hitting. And I'm ready now. I feel that whenever we get back to face-to-face contact, to dive back into things. Because I've had this weird, wavy last 5 months or so, to where been a lot of lows, peaked size, and then kind of swipes back and forth, and now I feel like I'm on an upswing. But this upswing I'm hitting is feeling continuous. I can't picture a down. And for me, that I feel like that's good for me, because not being able to picture the down means a negative part of it is out of mind. I can only see, myself, my ministry, the online world, personal projects. I can only see an upward swing with them. The sky's the limit. And I don't know. I'm at a point where it's one of those you don't you don't want to believe that like this is a too good to be true type moment, but I kind of feel that's where it is. I mean, personally, I've done different classes. I'm working on 2 personal projects right now, um, and it's been fun. I mean, that's the best I can say. It's been fun. Um, so I'm hoping to again continue this upswing of just punching through, plowing through. Um, and where I know my prayer life hasn't been 100% fluid during this time, but it's been stronger within the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks now, um, than it ever has been all year, at least. Um, and one of the parts of this, and I'm actually going to wrap this up with my thoughts going forward. One of the parts that has helped me is surrender. I've always had a big problem of discerning what's within and what's without my control. What can I control, what can't I control. I've been dealing with that struggle for a couple months, and that's one of the things I want to leave you with. One of the best things that has helped me during this time is finding that discernment, finding what you can control and what you can't. And a lot of times you can't control what's going on. You can control how you perceive what's going on. And obviously we're at a time where there's a whole lot of confusion, chaos, high anxiety, high tension, high stress. And I pray that you can find that control again. Go do something for you. Now, I know we can't go out in public, we can't hang out with friends, but being able to do something for you is one of the best control things you can get. Even if you get up, have a cup of iced coffee, like I got. You can control how much iced coffee you want. Oh, I drank that too fast. Sorry. But at the same time, control is one of the things us as humans are innate on. And when things are outside of our control, this is when the mental anguish can out and we're going nuts now. I pray that you can continue to find and discern what you can and can't control. Be able to have God use you in a way to stabilize you. I pray that your prayer life gets stronger from this, to not only better yourself now, but when we can start looking forward to normal again. And that's been the other kind of the big change that I can talk about in a later video. Pastor Stephen Furtick just put out a sermon on the 19th, called "Looking Forward to the New Normal." I haven't saw it yet, so I can't describe it to you. But even just that phrasing for me, looking forward to the new normal, because you might have heard me, and I know I've said it, I can't wait till we get back to normal. This could be a time where God doesn't want us to go back to normal. We have to look forward to the new normal. So I pray that we can all look forward to normality soon. We're going to get through this. We're going to come out stronger. I love you guys. I pray for all you guys. I know this kind of wasn't more so about prayer, but continue praying. Even at those times when you feel like the prayers aren't working, they are. And remember, prayer doesn't have to be this big, fancy, Shakespearean-like spiel. All it needs to be is just a conversation. And you can curse, you can yell at God, you can cry, you can be sad. God isn't going to punish you for feeling a certain way. If you're angry, God's angry. If you're sad, God's sad. If you're anxious, God's anxious. But He can help all that. Just surrender. If I remember by the time I get to post, when I schedule everything, I'm going to put a link to a Kit Guys video called the Serenity Prayer. It's something I've been meaning to watch myself, but I highly encourage you watching it. The Serenity Prayer is all about release and all about that control. So I'm going to leave you with that. I love you guys. Quick announcement. Don't forget, tomorrow will be our spring art stream on our Facebook page, which you'll find down in the description. Join us at 6:30. There's templates that are out to join us that I'll be kind of going along with. It's just a time to hang out, forget what's going on outside. We just gather together for fun and fellowship. So join us for that. Sunday we have our Sunday school series. We're going to go into week 4 of Bible Basics. Last week we had took apart the anatomy of the Bible as a whole. This week we're going to dive into the Old Testament, all the way up to the books of poetry. So I hope you'll be there for that as well. And then Wednesday we start a brand new series called Encounter. So I hope to see you there. I love you guys. We'll get through this. Stay blessed.